And we're starting recording. So yeah. Awesome.
Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Lovely.
Am I looking at you or am I looking sideways?
Mm-mm. You're looking at the camera.
Okay. All right. So it will take just a wee moment while we get started. And so I want to welcome everybody to I Support Your Business. And my name is Tom Graham. I am a matchmaker to self, and I have a business called Frame of Mind. And with me today is Val McCarty, who is our host, and I lose track of titles. Am I the host or you're the host? Oh, Val's muted.
I'm the co-host.
You're the co-host. So we're
Yeah.
co-hosting together. So it'll be
Hey,
conversation.
right on.
And I want to introduce Fatima Sumar. And welcome to our space here. And yeah, Fatima, this is about you and your business. And I would like to start by just asking you, how about tell us a little bit about you?
Well, first of all, thank you very much, Tom and Val, for having me. It's a pleasure connecting with you guys, and I look forward to this conversation. So, who am I? I am a registered holistic nutritionist that is passionate about helping women live through their menopausal, perimenopausal, symptoms, but help them actually at the end find their sexy confidence back, because we all know those times are the roughest on our gut, on our health, our emotions, as well as our mind, our weight. So I'm here to help you reverse that, as well as bring your sexy confidence back.
Awesome. That is so cool. And um, how in the world did you find to do that? I love your smile to start with. So apparently you got something.
Thank you. Well, again, it's all natural. No chemicals, no toxins. But how did I come about and why am I so passionate about this? It started off with me having severe headaches. And I mean, not just one day. This was 15 days of like a massive migraine back in 2014, where I went to my doctor and he said, you know what, just take this pill. Are you stressed? I'm like, of course I'm stressed. I've got this headache, a pounding headache that where I can't even see the room. The room is bouncing. And we're talking now 15 days and you're asking me to take a medication. And he wasn't willing to get to the root of it. And that just drove me bonkers. And so from there, my health journey restarted. I've always been passionate about eating healthier, holistic healing. I've never taken any drugs, but that moment really ignited that passion in me. And also having my uncle constantly tell me, because he's a doctor, that, there's something wrong with you. I think you've got ADHD, because I would always ask him, why are you prescribing this medication? Why are you prescribing this drug? Why aren't you getting to the root of it? And why are you not looking at how you can heal or support someone naturally? So that's where my journey began. And that's why I'm so passionate, is I don't want someone to go through what I've been through, having those 15 days of massive migraines, which actually stemmed from my gut. And the doctor won't tell you that. So that's my passion. That's why I do what I do.
Cool. And so I'm curious, you've had the little bit of time now. Have you had a few people that you've been able to maybe share a story or two about, call it a success story maybe?
Yes, I've had a few success stories. One of my success stories was I had a client, because we can't call them patients. I had a client who actually was diabetic. His
Mhm.
numbers were really high, and through coaching, through the nutritional program that I set up for him, he was able to get off of his medication, reverse his numbers, which was a huge success. And today he's lost over 120 pounds.
Oh, wow. Well, that sounds like you're having a positive impact.
Yes.
What was that like for you?
It was actually pretty exciting because I was able to support this gentleman and actually get him to really understand the value of health, and just to see that transformation and to see him get off of his medications it was actually gratifying.
And what was it about that? I mean, I'm curious because I want to get into oh, this is what lights her up like crazy.
Just seeing other people having those successes, having their successes, actually lights me up. Being able to know that I was the one to help them to transform, that lights me up.
Yeah, making a difference for people.
Yes.
I love that you want to make a difference for people.
Yes.
That is so cool. Val, do you have anything on top of mind that just came to your being?
No, I'm really enjoying the story of how and why uh, Fatima really wanted to do what she's doing. Having that personal experience that you had would be phenomenal, and it definitely inspiring. And I'm so glad that you went with that feeling of I have to help other people. I'm so glad that you're out there helping other people.
Yeah. So Fatima, I'll go a little deeper because I'm a little techie. And so my question is, how does food affect hormones?
How does food affect hormone? That's actually a very great question. So a lot of times we don't actually think about what we eat. So it actually begins where we're making the food. That's where nutrition actually begins, is when you're making the food. Now you're asking, why does that affect your hormones? Well, everything that you put into your mouth actually affects your hormones, whether it is your insulin, whether it is your cortisol, whether it is your estrogen levels, progesterone levels, your melatonin levels, serotonin, testosterone. It affects everything, because everything that we put into our mouth has energy. Energy then affects our ability to process our food. So now if we're eating something that's very highly processed, well, we've taken out the nutrients from there. So now that is going to have a ripple effect. Each system it goes through, it's going to throw off your hormone. So for example, vitamin D is very, very essential. It is essential in the sense that it is a precursor to cholesterol. Cholesterol, which we actually do need, because that is a precursor to our hormones, our sex hormones. So our estrogen, our progesterone, our testosterone. So now if those are off balance, well, then you get into what is known as endometriosis or PCOS. And that's where infertility comes in for women. And for men, that's where you end up with prostate cancer. So now if you're eating, say, too many things that are processed, well, you're not getting your nutrients in there. And you want your phytoestrogens, which are things like soy, right, that actually support your hormones. So each food has its own benefit to it. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna ask you to give me a one more time, and I'm gonna put a new condition on it. Okay?
Sure.
Okay, first of all, the premise is pretend I'm a fifth grader. How does the food I eat affect my hormones?
Okay, so if you're a fifth grader, how does it affect your hormones? So you
Hold on a
need,
second. Pretend my listening is a fifth grader, and you can use my adult body. Okay? I want to hear it in a simpler way.
sure. Okay, so I'll take vitamin D because that's a very easy hormone to understand. So the vitamin D will hit our thyroid or our throat area. So now that will convert it into a chemical that our body will use to convert into other chemicals that we need in order to remain healthy. Okay? And so one of the chemicals it'll convert it into is cholesterol. So cholesterol, there's two types of cholesterol. There's the HDL and the LDL. And we all need, and that the cholesterol is what keeps our heart healthy. And so we need the vitamin D in order to make cholesterol, which then supports every other chemical reaction. Now, if we don't have enough vitamin D, then our thyroid will not break down our food as well. It will not be able to metabolize, meaning it's not going to be able to break it down and digest and circulate the chemicals needed in our body to live a healthier lifestyle. Is that simplified for you?
Let me see if I got it. Let me take a crack at it, okay? So the vitamin D example, vitamin D is a fundamental building block that's used in the body to keep the heart healthy. And if it's deficient in the food, it can't go through and help the heart. Right?
Yes, you're missing the fact that before the heart, it needs to convert to a chemical, which is cortisol.
Okay.
Cholesterol, sorry.
Cholesterol. Okay.
Yes.
And cholesterol can be good.
Yes, actually,
it is good.
It is good. We need cholesterol for many different functions in our body. So it's the HDL that we're looking for, not the LDL. So now, if you're having processed foods, that increases your LDL, which then decreases the production of your HDL, which is needed for all the other chemical reactions.
So if I eat the wrong food coming in, I'll get the wrong DL, whatever output. I'll get the wrong one.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I shouldn't have had that pizza. Okay.
Once in a while, it's okay. Not every day.
Awesome. Well, I can really see you're passionate about making the space for understanding and really getting people's set up for success with food.
Yes, I love it. I love it.
How about one more?
Sure.
You got one more example? Like one more? Like
okay, so here's a really good one. So insulin,
yep.
It regulates our blood glucose levels.
Sure.
So now if we're stressed, that means our cortisol levels go up. So adrenaline or noradrenaline, those go up. Our cortisol or insulin levels increase. That means more blood sugar. There's more blood sugar in our blood. We are now storing it as fat. But if you decrease your cortisol levels, you will also decrease your insulin production levels. But in order to keep your insulin stable, you don't want like a up and then a complete down. That's where you end up with other
that stuff happens.
Other stuff that happens. So you want to make sure it is stable.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you do that? One, you want to make sure you're getting proper sleep, because in the morning, your cortisol level should be at the highest.
Wow.
Yes. And your insulin level should actually be low.
Okay.
But if you've had diagnosis, it's the other way around.
Okay.
So you want to make sure you've got fiber that will help you support and balance and regulate that. And vitamin D again will come in and play a role. Now the cortisol and insulin will then ripple into the estrogen, progesterone, testosterone.
Okay. I'm gonna go sideways just for a minute. So if I'm out there in Vancouver, how do people work with you? Like, does you do remote or is it Vancouver only?
I do both the remote and I also do in person. So of course, if you're in the greater Vancouver area, then it would be in person.
Yep.
But that also depends if the individual is comfortable enough, or if they're not, then that would be online. And if it's out of province, obviously, out of state, it would have to be online. But if greater Vancouver, then it's in person.
Out of country?
Out of country, it would definitely be online.
Awesome. But excuse me. So how would a conversation go, or how does I'm curious because it's like what you hit me with is like an encyclopedia.
Yes. So, well, there would be an intake. So you would have to actually you would have to fill out your forms. Now, based on what you filled out, and the initial appointment is actually an hour and a half. So
Yep.
I go into the whole body system, not just with food, but I also do mind, body, soul connection.
Mm-hmm.
Because food is not, like, our health is not just food. It's a physical, you're covering your mind, your body, your soul, your emotions. And I also do body code, emotion code with that. So I'm getting into trapped emotions that we have. But it is a very lengthy process in terms of, so it's an hour and a half, the first appointment, where I'm fully going through a lot of questions. And if I see that the hormone section is out of balance, there's another set of questions. So I know exactly which hormones I'm looking at.
Sure.
And so as a RHN, we're actually looking at a lot more things than a doctor would in your 15-minute appointment.
Right.
And we do work with your doctor, but we do get a lot deeper into as to where exactly, and we will be recommending food. And so one of the take homes is, when you're going to the doctor, make sure you are advocating for your own health. Just like myself, at the beginning, when the doctor refused to actually look at it, it wasn't until I dug deeper and discovered that I was gluten intolerant. That's why I was having those massive migraines.
Make
So as a RHN, we will be there. We're there as your cheerleaders. We're there to help you and support you make that difference in your health. And if there's specific tests, for example, most times when you go to the doctor and you ask for a thyroid panel test, they'll only do the TSH, which is not the best indicator of if there's any thyroid. And by the time you are on medication, you've already gone too far. The minute you feel the symptoms, such as, gaining weight, tired, losing hair, and there's a lot other ones, mind fog, and you just don't seem like yourself. These also go with perimenopause as well, and into menopause. You want to ask your doctor to run the T4, T3, R4, and R3, as this will give you a better indicator. So what I would say is always, always, always be your own advocate. And if your doctor's giving you the runaround, we're here to support you in the sense of, we're there to tell you what exams or tests to ask for.
So if I heard you right, you're an advocate also, like almost like a patient advocate, educate
Yes.
before you go into the traditional medicine doctor, and then know what questions to ask.
Correct. Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. And then as far as just a little following this thread, just a little bit further. So if somebody signs on and they join the program, how does that flow through? Like, am I like a customer for life?
So it depends on the program that you want.
Okay.
You can start off with a 6-week program where it's just basically teaching you the basics.
Yep.
Okay. Or you can do 3 months, 6 months, a year, and then, we could see whatever we need after that. But the more you go on, the more lifestyle changes you're going to adapt. You're going to get, for each one of the stages, you're going to get customized meal plans. So they are specific to your needs.
Yeah.
It's not a cookie cutter meal plan. It'll actually be specific to your needs, what your likes are, because we all have different tastes, but we may have similar things. For example, I don't like anything that's like overcooked, like the vegetables. I don't like them overcooked, but either you yourself, Tom, or Val may like them. So I would have a recipe inclusive of that. You would get weekly phone calls with me or in person if we were in person. So depending on geographical, we would meet every week to see what the follow-up is. You would have a specific plan in action as to what's happening. So that you would do an initial, you would do at your 6 months, you can at the 6 weeks, so you could actually see your progress.
Sure.
And it's not just about weight, but it's about also feeling healthy.
Nice.
And
So
then hopefully getting people off their medications.
Oh yeah, this is so good. So I just acknowledge you for really standing for people's health. Is there some message? So we've gone like 25 minutes. It's like it's gone by so fast. I'm
Oh,
like,
wow, time flies.
right? So this is so great. What message would you like to give the listeners as a take-home message?
Sure. Okay, so there's 2 things. Number 1, if you're not drinking enough water right now, if you're not drinking 8 to 10 glasses, that is my excellent, love it. That is my one big recommendation, is to start drinking warm water. I know sometimes people have a hard time drinking the water because of the taste, and you want the warm water so it's actually easier on your digestive system. You can add lemon, you can add ginger to it, which will also support all of your other systems. But there's 330 benefits to drinking water. So you definitely, that's one thing, if I can recommend everyone do, is to drink water. And the other one is be an advocate for yourself. Don't just take what your doctor says. Actually be an advocate for your own health.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Yeah. And if people want to reach you, what's the best way? I could have put that out there earlier, and we're going to put it here now.
It's simple. You can either reach me on TikTok, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. So if you actually look at Fatima Sumar, I'll pop up.
Awesome. Fatima Sumar.
Yes.
What a wonderful day. So thank you so much. And thank you, Val, for being my partner in crime and causing an amazing conversation with Fatima. I'm going to stop the streaming. Thanks so much for being here.